Joining me is National Senator Matt Canavan, the former Resources Minister. Matt, isn't this the absolutely predictable and absolutely dangerous consequence of this trashing we see of Australia, its history, its symbols?
Exactly, Andrew. And in fact, it's we have to recognise that it's not a byproduct or an unintended consequence of that ideology being pushed to our children. It is, in fact, the purpose of it. The purpose and intent of those designing our curricula, talking down our country to young people, is to reduce the amount of pride and patriotism that exists in this country, to undermine our institutions as a country. And they are succeeding, but they're only succeeding because we are allowing, or governments are allowing them to dictate these terms to our students through our education institutions. And we must push back on this, because otherwise we won't have a country anymore. If people don't feel like they are proud to be Australians, well, there just won't be an Australia anymore. It's only sustained by an idea that millions of people have shared. And that idea has produced one of the most harmonious, prosperous countries in the world. I think there's one other factor, though, that I think is important, though, which we'll probably come on to, and that's, are we offering a stake in that future to young Australians? The housing market, they are increasingly locked out of. I think our economy is not as strong as it used to be. So people are looking, are they going to be better off than their parents, which is kind of perhaps the social contract that Australia has existed on, that we always offer more and more to future generations. We've got to fix that one as well, I think, to restore pride in Australia from young Australians.
Absolutely true. I must say too that another finding from this survey by the Australian Population Research Institute is that half the people it surveyed wanted a drastic cut to immigration. 71% said Australia does not need more people. Meanwhile, of course, we're having trouble providing a future to the ones we have already here today. Matt, every day now we get new examples of the collapse of the Albanese government's green energy revolution. You've talked about this for a long time as well. Today's example, the big investors in wind and solar factories that are popping up or supposedly around the country, they're demanding even more government handouts. The investor group on climate change warns that the Albanese government had better get even bigger subsidies for them to match the ones in Europe, or they'll take their money out of the Australian market and put Labor's green revolution targets at risk. Matt, this sounds like a real big stick up.
It is a stitch up of Australian taxpayers, but it's also quite revealing as well. I mean, the very ask of the investor group on climate change, who are big backers and supporters of renewables, that they're asking for more subsidies itself undermines their own arguments, which are made separately, that renewable energy is the cheapest form of power. Because in any known market in the world, if you've got a business product that is the cheapest way of doing something, you don't need government subsidies to succeed. You just need to sell the product, because you'll be able to undercut your competitors in the existing market. You'll be able to charge a slightly higher price because you'll be able to charge your product at the price that other manufacturers have to have costs at, the so-called higher costs at, and you'll make massive profits, and you won't need a subsidy at all. And so this is the case whenever there's been new inventions that are better, more efficient. You know, we haven't needed to have taxes or subsidies to Henry Ford to sell the Model T. He sold that because it was a better product that got people from A to B more cheaply and efficiently than the previous horse-drawn carriage model. He didn't need a government subsidy. He went out and sold it, and it worked. And we can see here that solar and wind is not the revolution that we are being told it is, because instead of that model, where people are rushing to buy it, people are rushing to build it, they constantly and continuously need your money to prop up their failed businesses. That reveals the lie about the whole renewable energy scam. It is a scam, and the sooner we end it, the more savings we'll make as taxpayers by not having to pay these grifters more and more money.